I'm going to show you how to replace the zipper in yet another coat. This pretty little green hooded coat needs a zipper replacement because ideally it should have a double pull. And so that's what we'll do. We'll put a zipper in with a double pull because it just keeps splitting down here at the bottom. And here's what that zipper looks like. We're going to go with brass teeth this time. Usually there's one side of the zipper that's more difficult to deal with than the other, and I like to start with the more difficult side. I consider this side to be the more difficult side because it has the overlay tab, and there's more fabric to deal with, and I've got to get this inserted just right. On the other side, it's a smaller under tab that, yes, we'll have to wrestle in and out the old zipper and in with the new, but it seems like it will be the easier side. The reason I like to do the easier side last is when it comes to matching everything up crosswise, like for instance, these toggle fasteners need to match up perfectly, then I want the easier side to be the side I deal with last. Okay, so I need to get ripping, and so I shall. I'm just going to insert my ripper anywhere really and get started. I'm crazy happy with how the manufacturer did this. Now that I've released the zipper, I see there's just a nice ditch here that I can insert the new zipper into. I'm happy because sometimes when you release the zipper, you find this entire tab will come out. No, they sewed that on of its own, and now all I have to do is get the zipper in here. Oh, I'm so happy. Yes, I'll have to line it up, and when I stitch, I'll want to stitch over nicely the stitching that the manufacturer did to secure the zipper in. I'm going to make that more clear as we go along, but I am really thrilled that that's the case. Go ahead and pick out all the loose threads. Take your time. Just get it done. So take the zipper and take the time to make sure you're not confused. The zipper and the side we just released actually go in upside down. So your tab needs to be upside down so that when it flips forward, of course it's right. Okay? Just make sure you don't get in the heartbreaking situation of having put it in the wrong side on the wrong side. And at least to start with, I like to keep the zipper all zipped up together. I won't separate it just now because it just helps me be sure of what I'm doing. Later on, as I go pinning along here, I might release the other side. Right now I'm up at the top here, and I'm just getting a handle on situating the top of the zipper. So I'm going to stab the pin in along the stitch line that existed and do my best to come out on the other side where the stitching is. Well, I didn't, so I have to keep trying. Finding value so far? Please give us a like, share it, and we'd just love to have you subscribe. There, it looks like I came out right where the stitching would be. Then stab the pin the rest of the way through. And it looks good on this side. Now I'm going to do this all the way along this side of the zipper, and when I'm finished, then I will actually be turning this over and resituating the pins on this side because I do want to sew from the front side. I do want to sew from the front side. Why? Because it'll be better looking that way than if I were to try to go straight under here, as will become more obvious as we go along. Meanwhile, I'm just going along, matching my zipper up pretty much with the bottom of the green here. then sandwiching it in the other top layer here, going in at the stitch line, doing my best. Oh, did I get lucky? I came right out. Get that pin in the rest of the way and keep going along like that. I'll meet you down at the bottom. Turns out the zipper is a little longer than the original, so we need to rip out about another inch, inch and a half to accommodate it. No big deal. There it all is then. Now I get the fun of turning all of those around. Strategy is to work in between these pins. And then I'll come back and turn these around later. By the way, this is a great bent pin project. Going through all the thicknesses, you're just going to bend pins anyway, so grab the bent ones. So am I obsessed with pinning? You bet I am. Because the more I pin and the better I pin, the more likely I only have to do one sewing pass and not have any rip-out situations. So I'd rather just pin and just daydream along and pin it really well. All done with pinning, and yes, it looks a little bunchy. That's because of all the pins. I'm most concerned with making it look right on top here as I do my sewing pass. I'm not going to be terribly concerned if the sewing down here is wiggly. The main thing is to just catch the fabric and have it look really grand from the outside. Let's go over to the machine then. Just go slowly and carefully. I'm using a fairly big needle, a jeans needle, and a long stitch length. I'm really happy with the top stitching result after we sandwiched in that zipper. Now on the underside, just as we suspected might happen, it's wavy, it's not perfect, and I wish it were, but it's not. However, it is good and connected because I double stitched the seam and reinforced everything. Now, when you go to do this, if you end up with a first pass result like this and it bugs you, what do? You redo it until you like it, until it's to your liking. Everything is preference, and if you have the time and wherewithal to get that exactly the way you want to, that's exactly what you go for. To me, time is money. I'm moving on. And what I'm moving on to is now the other side. I will do as I have on this side. I'll rip out, situate it in with pins really well, sew a pass or two over it. In fact, I did reinforce this. I did go over this twice for reinforcement. I'll do the same on this side and I'll show you the result. Pinning on the easier side indeed was a lot easier than this side where everything was as thick as I've probably ever experienced. And before I forget, I want to mention, on this side you would not put the zipper upside down. It needs to be right side up. Okay? And how I ended up pinning was like this, where the pins show up on the underside in the ditch of the tab. So, in this event, I'm running from left to right. Let's go to the machine. And also, before I forget, I want to go ahead and zip all this up, even though it's just pinned on the one side, because I want to make sure before I zip it up on the machine that everything is even. By that I mean the bottom hem is even, okay, the snaps match up, toggles match up, the very top of the zipper matches up. Now I'm confident about going ahead and sewing. Okay, everything turned out infinitely easier on the easy side. I simply bent under the extra fabric. I would have bent it back a little further if I could have, but the snap here was in the way, so this is plenty good. Then the underside is pretty good too. Yes, a little bit of waviness, but we double stitched on top here. It's sturdy and it zips like a charm. Okay, and that's what we're going for. Good job. All finished. Hey superhero, now move on to either one of these videos created especially to help you.